Hi, you guys. I've been thinking about something for quite some time and I'd like to share. Um, Sorry if I'm slow with my words, but I really have to think about this. Something that's really hurting me. What's hurting me is rejection. Have you ever been rejected by someone you love? Maybe even someone you're married to, coworker or coworkers. I remember being in a crowd of people at my job. This was like 10 years ago or so. And what amazes me about people, grown adults, is weak people are naturally led by the stronger. What do I mean by that? Let's say you are working with a group of people. One person's kind of popular. The popular person doesn't like you. So all the other little chickens want to follow the rooster. People start talking about you, laughing at you, the way you look, the way you're dressed. You'll sit down for break as I have in the past. You'll be alone. It can be very devastating to your confidence when you feel rejected, when you don't fit in. You don't fit in. And then for a brief time you try to play the game with them to get along. Going along to get along. But then after a while, you start to realize that you're not really being yourself. That you're compromising even your beliefs. Just to be clucking with the chickens. You ever notice a chicken kind of pecks down at the ground? And when it's eating, it'll eat a little bit of dirt along with the food? Well, I didn't feel like eating dirt with my food. I used to go out at lunchtime, outside, and sit down. There was all these pine trees. And I'd cry a lot to myself. And one day I was sitting out there, and this bird, I know this sounds silly, but this bird comes. It's a wild bird. It hops around and it comes towards me and just sort of sits there and looks at me. I found it amazing that a bird would accept me and people would not. Isn't that amazing? And every day, at the same time, I wasn't feeding it. It would just come, hop along, and just sort of stand there and look at me. I grew to love the thing. I know this sounds kind of silly, but I find God to be very amazing because I think He sent it. In the grand end and scheme of things, He sent that little bird to me just to sit there at lunchtime every day. See, God is too grand and too huge, and He's dealing with too many things to personally pay you a visit. But He is so merciful. And when I was feeling so down, so rejected, so unloved, here He sent me just a little bit of love in that little bird. I know some of you think I'm silly, but I believe that. I have faith. If you're out and about, you're at your job, if you're in school, and you see from the world's perspective that one dorky person, now that's the world's perspective, sitting alone, you take your tray and go sit next to him or her. That's very important. The rejection made me feel this big and had me questioning myself. The way I looked made me very self-conscious, made me very quiet. And I have a pretty outgoing personality. But I was shrunk all the way down. It's a horrible feeling. And then in driving to work, that uncomfortable feeling in your gut. Maybe the Sunday night before the Monday, just feeling sick at the thought of having to go and face that every day. Every day. And I remember getting a Christmas gift every year for this person. And one year, I said, why am I doing this? I'm trying to gain favor through giving things. And remember, how you get them is how you keep them. So I decided to stop. Because it didn't matter anyway. It made no difference as to how the person and the people were thinking about me. See, you can't give a little bit to Satan. He wants it all. Remember that bag that has a hole in it that is discussed in the Bible? You can't fill Satan's belly enough. You can't. So I just decided I would rather sit outside alone at lunch with my little bird than to be a phony and give in to a crowd of people that didn't care anyway. And I knew that God loved me. That was the beginning of me growing closer to Him. Sometimes He will allow a crowd of people to reject you because He wants your attention. You see. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about people's feelings. What you say, and sometimes how you say it can really affect a person. And it can be a devastating thing, especially to a young person. You know, young people are like sponges. Soak it all in. That's all I have to say. I hope you guys have a great upcoming week. I love you.